Hey ladies and gents, we are back with some Avorion and we are fighting the Center Guardian in this video. So now the games have changed somewhat compared to what I used to play it. So we're going to look at the wiki page on this subject first. Now there is a little discrepancy here, I'll be honest. So this is a boss fight, opens up multiple wormholes, that kind of stuff. It's going to channel the black hole's powers and all that kind of stuff. Some of smaller ships, which about 9 of them are roughly in the boss possesses 25 million, 5 million shields roughly, and it all depends. This is RNG based. Now, the thing about it is that according to the wiki, I checked this before because, like I said, there's not always necessarily the same thing as between the wiki and what actually happens in game. Sometimes it's not always right. So what happens according to this? The XWG shield is invulnerable while the smaller Zotan ships are around. My game wasn't. I was able to take his shields down even though there was 9 other ships there. And becomes vulnerable over a period when they are destroyed. Once the shield is depleted, the XWG will continue vulnerable. So now I just tested this in this game that I'm playing currently. So when I get to the boss fight with the Zotan Guardian, he will have no shields. But yeah, so all 9 ships were there. I still was able to take down the shields. However, I did this on a different game. You know, I have multiple games that I've played where he was invulnerable when the ships were there. I had to blow them up, and when he was channeling the wormholes, I was able to actually take the shields down then. So, once again, I don't know if this has to do with the version of game I'm playing, or if this is just because this is an older... the other ones were older. I don't know, but so don't necessarily assume that what you see here is the same you're going to see in your game. I just wanted to make that clear because I took down, like I said, I took his shields down relatively easily. So you're going to see when I get into the boss fight, he's going to have no shields because I wanted to test this out. Unfortunately, he doesn't ever respawn, so I'm going to have to just show you with no shields on his ship. I was able to take him down with the 9 ships there. Wasn't a big deal. But the other game, I had to wait until I killed the 9 ships, and then he was vulnerable. So take it for what it is. I have no idea why Avorion does what it does. So we're going to talk about the ship here shortly. Alright guys, we are looking at the ship that I'm going to be doing this fight in. Of course, you've seen this ship multiple times. 3.3 million hull. We got 27 million shields, 20, almost 28 million shields for this fight, which, for the fact that this is an expert level, isn't really outrageous. You could probably even do it with less, because in the end, I only lose roughly 20% of my shields in this fight. The fight itself is, not really that hard, but yeah. So let's take a look at the ship here. We're going to look at our systems. We're doing a shield reinforcer. I'm not jumping around a whole lot, and mostly with just the increase in turret slots, which I'm up to 73 here. I'm also picking up the number 5, which is the generated energy, recharge energy. It gives me bonuses and everything. Not necessarily with the cargo hold and all that kind of stuff, but it gives me everything else that I want. I want to make sure I have enough energy to do this fight. So you're going to see me use this one, and we'll use the turret slots, arm turret slots. We're also, like I said, we're just trying to get our turret slots up by about 73 to get that. And then, of course, we picked up shield boosters. I used 3 of them. These have the real nice because they have emergency recharge. So after I lose my shields, they will automatically recharge to 35%. I have 3 of these at 35%. Since they're stacked, they should bring my shields all the way back to full. Even if I lose all my shields, they should just automatically recharge. Those are really super nice if you can fire those kind of shield boosters. They don't have to be reds or purples. They'll work fine. Once again, shield booster and all that kind of stuff. Or shield reinforcer, just in case they don't fire torpedoes and that kind of stuff, but they do occasionally have some energy weapons that might go through your shields if you don't have that. I wasn't, like I said, unfamiliar with this when I jumped in. I wasn't terribly sure what I was going to run into when I got there. I lose 60% of my shield durability, but what the hell? I still have 27.84 million shields in this fight. Like I said, most everything else has just been turret control systems. Generated energy. I want to make sure I have enough energy in this fight. with the weapons I'm using, as well as the ability if you have to run, because you have over a 500-second cooldown once you jump into this fight. So you want to make sure you are fast enough. If you cannot take the Guardian and you have to run to get your shields down, you got to make sure you have enough energy to keep up ahead of them until everything recharges. That's what I typically use. Weapon wise, I use mostly railguns, lots and lots of railguns. Just because we previewed this guy and he had 21 million hull, the railguns are going to give me an advantage there, as well as some Teslas with 162% damage to shields, which can help me take down his 8 million shields roughly. His shields are already down, like I said. He had 8 million shields with what I was packing here. Yeah, because right here in the front of my ship are two Tesla coils, Tesla weapons that there's a 100,000 plus 117% damage to. They'd work pretty well against shields. The other one I think is 82,000, yeah, plus 79% damage. So I easily took the 8 million shields down pretty easily, relatively quick here. So I'm going to change this over here and put these guys at 1. Even though in the fight I didn't actually change those back. I probably should have here. Typically, though, those those coaxial Teslas don't work real well to try to shooting at moving objects. I use these specifically on here, just those two Teslas to take out that Guardian shields. Those both were researched. I did not buy those or pick them up anywhere. I spent the time and was able to get lucky on my RNG and get 2 research Teslas that were that powerful. I went out to the outside edge and picked up lots and lots of drops off of the AI, the center, the Brotherhood, any boss I could fight that might possibly have Teslas. I picked them up and then just continued to research until I picked up both those 2 rather powerful, which made this fight a lot easier, of course. So, yeah, that's essentially what I have my ship set up here. How my ship is set up for this fight. But once again, I took his shields down already, so he's already vulnerable. So pretty much, I'm just gonna have to run through about 20 million hull, roughly, to finish him off here. And sorry about that. That was my mistake. I got to recording it, and then I realized that my mic was muted. So I ended up having to do this or record over to show you the fight. And then once again, my experimenting. And that's the one thing you should do is experiment whenever you're playing this game and you're not sure about something. Because right now I'm experimenting in different games on how to build the Big Brother and the 576, the one with all the numbers on it. I can't even think of the name of the fight. And then there's the IDHTX whatever fight. I'm experimenting with them all the time. So a lot of times you'll see me, I'll jump in, fight it, jump out, rethink my strategy, and essentially kind of what I did here, trying to figure out exactly if the wiki page was correct or not. So we're going to jump into the fight here, and we're going to find out exactly what is going on here. Alright, so here's the wormhole. So you can see I already took down you can see the blue line above is gone. I've taken down his shields, and he's still quite a ways out. So we're going to look at all these guys. There he is right there. He's about 99 kilometers out. I had to run a little bit to jump out of here because I said we're at a 583 second cooldown. So you want to make sure if you have to get into this fight that you have enough energy to make sure you can run away. So he was at 8 million shields. With those Teslas in the front, I went through the 8 million shields really quick. Once again, I did it when 9 ships were there. I had no problem. The other game I tried, I had to wait for him. I had to blow them up. He was vulnerable for a little bit until he started channeling the wormholes, and then once they popped back in, he was invulnerable shields wise. So we're going to pick a spot in case we have to run and jump if he knocks down my shields here. So we're at 12 kilometers. We're almost getting 1 million damage per penetration with those railguns. Alright, 660, 726. Yeah, so we have everything turned on here, and you're going to see he's running down pretty 73%. Yeah, when you get this kind of firepower with in this game that you get at the end tier, especially with a lot of the Avorion weapons, or the created turrets, or even the research stuff. He is not the biggest baddie in the center of the galaxy. So we're going to finish him off here shortly. He's at 50%. Wait for my railguns to cool down here. Now with the railguns, using railguns, you want to look for the biggest concentration, because you want multiple penetrations on the railguns. I'm not really getting that here. So you'll see me constantly checking around there. So there was a 743. Once again, I'm getting little 12Ks and stuff like that, because I'm only penetrating one, maybe 1.5 blocks. So you'll see me here. So 1.9%, and there he goes. He is dead. Lots of turret drops. And there's what I was talking about on the right hand side. There's the 4D, 43, 4149. That is a specific boss fight. We are going to look at that in a different video when I figure out how to beat him. I have an idea how to beat him. Tank the shit out of him, but I'm trying to do it somewhat, make it a little bit easier for you guys to figure out how to do it here. So we're going to finish off the last little ships. There we go. We have a couple more to finish off here. Big drops on this guy. The Center Guardian drops, maybe 30 plus turrets. And then, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 systems as well that are pretty decent. So we got one more Zotan Corvette to finish off. Come on. That's what you get when you get a big old boat like this. Alright, he's dead. I think I have one more to go, possibly. I think he's further out here. So let's look at what we can pick up. Now, like I said earlier, I cleaned out all of my stuff on the essentially my depot right here. So there's nothing here. That was control. So we're going to get a pretty good idea exactly what we get from this fight. Sadly, this fight is not as good as what you would get in the older game. Sometimes you get in here. I have probably one of the best rail guns I ever had was from a drop from this fight. So we lost roughly 19% of our shields in this fight. So you can see we get a fair amount of crap out of here. Unfortunately, the Zotan, he's not. I'm going to salvage him, the wreckage, to get what Avorion I can get out of it. However, it's not what it used to be. You used to be able to do, when this thing regenerated every 30 minutes, you could pick up roughly anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 million Avorion out of him. But now, since he's a mobile ship, essentially, he's not near as big, and he doesn't have as much Avorion. In fact, I think when I salvaged him completely, he was only about maybe 60,000 Avorion. So a little disappointed for the salvage part of it, but I don't think this is supposed to be really end game as much as it used to be. So we're trying to get here. We're trying to get him up here. Okay, so he's here. Flip out to F9, and we're going to pick up. Yep, there he is. He's my salvage ship here, and I'll bring him over here, of course, to there we go, finally. And we're going to pick him up. We're going to bring the salvage ship over here to finish salvaging off the scrap, or what we got out of the ship, which wasn't, honestly, nowhere near what it used to be. Unfortunately, I actually like the older version of the game, where this thing spawned every 30 minutes, and you could go in there and just absolutely clean up here. So, picked up a mining turret, force turrets, a couple upgrades that were purple, some red ones, some yellow ones, some decent weapons. Once again, not the greatest drop. Stuff that I'll eventually, these are all tech level 52s. So when I go back to the research station, all this stuff here probably will give me some pretty decent stuff here. Lots of whites, lots of commons, uncommon stuff like that. Yeah, so some decent weapons, but nothing. Maybe I'm just jaded because I played the game so long, and the original stuff was so much better. But we can use some of this stuff, of course, in our research, and be able to pick up, hopefully some better weapons for the the event that's coming up here as well. So yeah, with that said, guys, that was the fight. Sorry about the, I do a lot of testing in these games, and sometimes it didn't work out as well as I wanted to. But you guys get the gist of this. Just be careful when you're doing this. If you're going to test it, make sure it works for you, because not necessarily what everything I do is going to work for you guys. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching.